is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another exciting edition of the Power Trading Hour with me, your humble, lovable, and squeezably soft host. Once again, folks, we love to come to you at this time.
The following takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
So what do we have going on today? Well, we're up 16 points on the S&P cash. Let me update that just to make sure. Yeah, 16 points on the S&P cash, up 42 on the Dow. NASDAQ's up 72, Russell's up 7. So, Dow's kind of the weak sister today. Russell's starting to do a little bit of catch up. And of course, the real story of the markets today is hurry up and wait. That starts tomorrow morning. And let's, in fact, I probably ought to bring it up so I can talk about it. Tomorrow morning, we've got a little bit before 7, a little bit before 8. We've got J.P. Morgan, Delta Airlines, Citigroup, and Wells Fargo. And then Wednesday morning, we've got Bank of America, United Health, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, PNC, U.S. Bank Corp. After the bell on Wednesday night, it's Alcoa, which used to be the company that kicked off earnings. It's a little later these days. Thursday morning, we go in with Morgan Stanley, Charles Schwab, Bank of New York Mellon, PPG Industries. What else do we have? Wins Holdings. After the bell, CSX. That's on Thursday night. Schlumberger on Friday morning, Fastenal, JB Hunt, KC Southern, Region Financial, a few of the other regional bank companies. So that's kind of it. Now, that's kind of it. Not a lot of earnings on Monday here for a while. We get back into Tuesday, the week after expiration. Or the first Tuesday after expiration. And we don't have a whole lot. We've got UBS on the 21st, TD American, IBM, Capital One. You got enough of them out here, so we'll worry about that next week. But back into the earnings thing where we can have a lot of news-driven moves in the market. But right now, everybody is kind of holding up. And, of course, with the market going higher, hard to think that J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs didn't do well. Maybe they did something stupid like short the market, but you don't ever know. So what else do we have here today? Well, we wanted to see the volume. You can probably make a fairly good assumption that the market's going to have not huge volume. It's not bad, 4.2 billion shares as we start the show. And, of course, the biggest out here, just kind of a pullback in gold. We're down, in it? I don't have it here. I don't know why. Where does it show? Come on. Just not showing right now. 1549, but I think it's down, $10? I bet that's a good guess. Other things that we're keeping an eye on, of course, are the rest of the markets. Let me get this. Okay, come on. Where are you at? Okay, there's the markets. Okay, futures and commodities. Okay. Down 73 cents on crude. And, of course, on Friday, did we bring it up? Massive move higher in the amount of oil wells in Canada. Very small drop here in the United States. But certainly we start seeing the idea that we're going to have a little bit of of warmer weather coming soon, a lot of those Canadian wells are getting fired back up, although it will be, of course, in the next 2 months be fairly cold. Warmer weather expected for a little while in the Great White North, and they're going to fire up those wells and make some money when they can. But I think that's a thing to come, and that is cheaper oil being made in Canada, even though we're pulling back a little bit in the United States. It's like Canada can turn on and off 50% of their oil wells in a week. I don't know if they produce as much, something I'd have to look at, but not surprisingly, we're seeing a little bit of pullback in crude and, of course, in the big moves in gold, getting a little bit back. Natural gas down 2.5 cents at 21.77. Hard to see how that thing comes off the floor, especially when you do have such a build in rigs in Canada. The big problem is getting any of that stuff to the market. And of course, if you get it to the market, you got to be able to make some money. Flare permits is what they're called in the Northeast and in Canada are at all-time highs. So literally, they're just burning it off because they've got nowhere else to put it. Probably tells you a lot in gold. Yeah, gold down, about $10. And what else do we have? Copper, kind of sneaking up there more toward the $3 range, but really anything below $3 seems to be at least sanguine, if not a little bit dour to the less critical, less precious markets out there. Silver down 10 cents, not a lot, but we'll continue to keep an eye. You can always give me a call at 877-927-6648. You can email me at path@tfnn.com. And, of course, you can always put a message in the den. What do we got here? I think we have time to do a little bit of history.
That it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 2000, Microsoft CEO Bill Gates announces he'll be stepping down from the role of CEO, but remain on the board and embrace a new role as chief software architect. Steve Ballmer will take over as the CEO role and also remain president. This was the great wasteland that was going to probably sit around for another 13, almost 14 years of going sideways in the $20 range for the stock. And of course, what was it, in 2000? So it would have been, I think it was fall of 2000 when Microsoft dropped a single day at about what, 30? I think it was about 30% of its price in one day with a ruling on trade. And I continue to use that as the model of what we could see in others like Google and Facebook. In fact, some new laws coming in. We'll talk to Tom O'Brien about that on Friday. But California passing laws that are more like Europe. Then we've got big fines over in Europe. And we'll talk about those things all on securing your data. We'll be back in a minute.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about The Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive The Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on The Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
And got a couple things going on here, so we're going to check them all out. But a couple of things that were interesting that I saw in charts. And again, you can give me a call at 877-927-6648. I, of course, would much rather wait and see what's going on after tomorrow. Both before and after the bell on Wednesday morning. It's going to tell us a great deal. Wanted to see how China did today. The yen is that's the daily China 3X bull. It is breaking above the July 1st, 2019 high. You don't have a lot of volume out here, but it does look like it's stuck. Williams Sonoma, another one of these companies, it's testing its previous high, but not really backing off of the November 18th high. WSM is the symbol for this one. $74.15. That high, 1.56 million shares. Into it on Friday with 726,000 shares the day before, 900,000 shares today. Kind of a little flat out here with about 400 so far. 400,000. White Eagle Petroleum looks like it's ready to go back and retest the low of 429 again. That goes back to December 3rd. You're just kind of stumbling back down here. Energy was kind of good at the high, though, but this may be setting up more of a nice trading range. And if you can get a $4 to $8 trading range, that may be pretty sweet. Who knows if it makes it back down there, but it certainly looks like now is the time. VSTO, let's go through these and see. VRX. Valiant Pharmaceuticals, on that. You went back up at the high 4 days ago, pulled back kind of hard one day and just kind of playing around. No real signal off the top of that yet. VOD, Vodafone Group, going sideways. What is this? Vernex Holding, nothing in that. Nothing in Twink. Tupperware kind of interesting out here. You got to think there's probably some value in the name, even if there's no value in the company. You had a nice move higher back on the 17th of December with 5.2 million shares. Got it back into it 2 days ago with 1.8 million shares. You got a couple of days going sideways out here. Today, very light volume. I don't see a clear signal on that, but I wouldn't be short. What else do we have? Okay. Stein, what else do we have? Stickle. I was going to say this has been one tough market to get a lot of signals coming out of the actual market, out of the equities. On ETFs, we've got the SOX, which is the Bear 3X. And when we look at what's going on there, you're kind of going back into the 2nd of January this year. You had about 4.4 million shares. You got about 2.4 million shares, but it doesn't look like it's going to close back up into the trading range today. But again, not a lot of push, just a lot of resistance in most of those. SINX, SNX, nice pop on Friday, a little bit of continuation, but without the volume today. Synovus Financial, SNDR. Synchronicity. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go to a little better list from the 8th. We'll go back through this, see how some of these actually worked out. Applied Optoelectronics. Again, these are one of the stocks that are feast and famine, and it's go, 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 or end of the world on it. It finally got back up and filled at least part of this gap that goes back to the, August 30th of last year. Went down with, is that just a split? Let's take a look here. Yeah, okay. Not as bad as I thought. Did look like a split, didn't it? Okay. Builder Source. Again, up a little bit today, not a lot of volume, but no sign that that's hit some kind of high. B2 Gold Corp, BTG, the symbol, tested a 14 million share high from August 7th last year with 5.5 million shares, pulling back a little bit on that one. CMG, we wanted to be following this one. No pullback on it yet as it goes right back up to the highs of September 9th of last year, September 24th, and October 22nd. Had a nice pullback to 728, back up to 777, but no pullback here. Quite the run for CMG, a company that you could make a case parallels Boeing fairly well. Coupa Software broke out, but without the kind of volume you would like to see. Last 4 days has been up on light volume. COUP, it's been or had a very nice run since the October 23rd low. DHI, which is DH Horton, of course, the Lennar, and what was the other one? Yeah, I'll think about it. Lennar and somebody else reported last week. Didn't really react with the rest of them. This one actually seems to have been one of the weaker ones. No close under a 3x3 or a 9-day moving average, so no real signal there. EA had been kind of punching this high going back to February 15th of 2019. You really can make a fairly decent case that volume on this one has been declining since February 15th of last year. It really hasn't picked up. You're up on kind of light volume up here today. Don't really see a lot of new games out there that push them. And of course, I think they've been able to kind of squeeze some blood out of a turnip over the last year, but they need some new titles to really get going that they do not have. No new titles. Edison International, EIX is symbol on this one, testing with about just a slightly less than the September 27th low, but no signal on it. EL, which is Estee Lauder, trying to break out above the September 6, 2019 high at 206.99. That had 3.5 million shares. Nothing so far. The big day on the 9th when you actually broke through that had 1.3 million shares. Again, retail, one of the weaker parts of this market. What else do we have? Hub blew up on earnings. It's come back, filled that fairly decently. I mean, I'd have problems shorting this just because the anecdotal evidence around where I live of how many people are using these folks, but doesn't look good in the chart. Hubs, no real clear signal there, going back into some higher volume. Kinder Morgan also kind of broken out of that $20 range, gone up a little higher. You had some nice volume on that Thursday and Friday. Is that right? Thursday, yeah, Thursday and Friday. So you got enough volume there. We'll be back in a minute.
The Path of Least Resistance is David White's daily trading newsletter, and if you're looking for active trading ideas, then now's a perfect time for a 30-day free trial to this powerful daily trading advisory service. David uses his years of trading experience to offer his subscribers his trading ideas each morning in his Path of Least Resistance newsletter. Using a combination of equity trades along with options, David keeps his subscribers up to date with all pertinent market information with intraday afternoon updates when warranted. Don't miss out on this great chance to get a 30-day free trial to David's daily newsletter, The Path of Least Resistance, with no obligation to pay anything. David has been delivering solid recommendations for his subscribers recently, and if you'd like to see the type of newsletter he delivers every morning, then visit the front page of TFNN and you'll find The Path of Least Resistance under Trading Newsletters. For all the details and to start your 30-day free trial today, log on to TFNN.com now.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get them, folks!
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartleys, ABCs, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back, and just debating whether I should sell something. There's always that time where everything slows down and a trade just, it's not that it's going against you, but just stops and you kind of think, well, it seems to be more of a bet. I'm sitting on some nice winnings. Should you go ahead and take the money? And generally you want to sit on it if you can, but you know, if you got options, they decay fairly quick. and you don't want to be on the wrong side of them, especially if the momentum in the markets has stopped, kind of like it has today. Anyway, question about Apple. Absolutely nothing. Volume's okay out here. But again, I don't think you see a high in Apple until after the Super Bowl and maybe even into March. It really looks like they're going to announce a 5G phone and some new features, and a lot of people are front running it. I don't know if it'll be that big of a deal, but again, markets can extend a lot farther than you ever think. And if this is the seventh wave of an Elliott wave move, this thing is just going to continue to do this a little bit higher, until everybody gives up shorting it. But at the moment, I can't see. I mean, everybody's still hammering away at this. They continue to hammer away at Boeing with little effect. Everything kind of points to about a $350 expiration for Boeing on Friday. I think a lot of it's going to be over the next couple of days and what we see in those other ones, because I think as long as the market's doing okay, it can probably continue to drift up a little bit after those shorts get bored out. To what do we have for Macy's? Not a whole lot. You got the gap down that goes back to August 14th of last year, down to 65 million shares. Been coming up with about half that last 4 days to try to finish off this gap. I don't know how big mall stores ever come back, but certainly Macy's wouldn't be one that I made a big bet on. It's got some fairly or a very high short interest level in it. So again, I wouldn't be short it either. New York Community Bank, one of the few out here actually giving a signal. That's the October 31st low at $11.59 with 21 million shares, and you're into it with about 6.6 million last week. Today you only have about 1.5. I'm not a big fan of buying the banks here before earnings, but could look worse. Penn National Gaming, of course, ever since the trade issues seem to have faded some. I think these guys make like the machines and stuff. If I'm not mistaken, maybe they do something else. Let's check. I never can remember these gambling companies. Of course, they call themselves gaming companies, probably because they're not really gambling. They're just taking money from suckers. Yeah, manages gaming and racing facilities, operates video gaming terminals, 41 facilities, 19 jurisdiction, based in Wyoming, Pennsylvania, wherever that is. You're at the highs, live volume a little bit light. That February 7th, 2019 high at 2645, 2.5 million shares with 1.3 million shares. That pretty much tells you all about it. So, yeah, we'll look at that. What else do we have? Sono, question about this one. Again, I think since this one went public, I don't know how they make it in a world driven by Alexa and Siri and the rest of them. All those things are kind of one product in the living room around the television. Can they survive for a long time without going bankrupt? Probably. It's not that they make bad products. It's just that they're not going to be able to compete with the big guys. Simon Property Group, been watching these for a little while. You may have a little bit of a low coming in. You had the big spike down on December 12th with 3 million shares. Last few days, you've had got about 1 million shares so far today. So kind of coming into some lows. Again, I have a feeling that a lot of these stocks at lows, if you get some fairly decent earnings out of the broker-dealers and the railroad cars, you might find some lows or tradable lows in some of those. Timken, I think that's what this is, TMK, Torchmark. This one came off the rails. See on this one. Okay. Torchmark. Yeah. Yeah, what you don't want this thing doing is closing under a 9x9 again. That would be a death signal for it. Not forecasting it, but man, this thing needs at least a handful of days above that to make sure that nothing's happening. Toll Brothers, that's who was in earnings last week, wasn't it? Maybe it's this week coming up. $41.47. That's the September 16th high with 7 million shares. Got it spiked into it with just 3.2 million shares on the 8th. Kind of played around here. You're up today on about 1.4 million shares, but certainly you're going back into a longer time frame where there's this big gap down that goes back to May 22nd, 2018 for Toll Brothers. It's back up in here, but again, not a lot of juice so far. But again, not a lot of warning signals either. What is it? V&Q. I keep a daily lookout on this one. It's all about the real estate index fund and REITs, which are the most leveraged product. People run for the hills the fastest in this because this is where the biggest losses will come from if there is a problem with housing. But we're back up to the previous huge down day of the 2nd of January today, and volume's okay at 4.1 million shares, not much going on. Had a question if I'd changed my opinion on Ingenious Watt. We talked about this one probably a year and a half ago, and I want to say Mary called in on this. My opinion was that since they wouldn't show the technology for wireless charging they were telling everybody worked, and they had made some rather dubious claims that I didn't think anything else would change, and this company was worth either $100 or nothing. It looks to me like it's a lot more like nothing. But anytime you have a company that makes wild claims like wireless charging that's totally efficient, extraordinary claims need extraordinary proof. And when they go hiding for what's the truth, you always want to keep an eye on that. Oh, we're going to the break here now. We'll be back. Got one more segment. Give me a call, 877-927-6648. Email me at path@tfnn.com.
If you're in the CD market and looking for a secure investment, the Tiger First Mortgage Program may work for you. The security for these first mortgages are building lots in the tax opportunity zone in St. Petersburg, Florida. The Tax Act of 2018 set up tax-free zones across the country where you can build and hold for 10 years and pay no tax on the profits, which makes these lots valuable. The investment is anywhere from $30,000 to $75,000. The interest paid is 7% yearly, paid on a monthly basis. According to Bankrate.com, the best rate for a 4-year CD in the country as of February 20th is 3.1%. A $50,000 investment at a normal 4-year CD rate of 3.1% would give you income of $1,550 per year or $6,200 over the 4-year period. That same $50,000 investment in the Tiger First Mortgage Program would give you $3,500 per year or $14,000 over the 4 years. Which would you prefer, $6,200 or $14,000 of interest on your investment? If you would like more information about the Tiger First Mortgage Program, you can call me at 877-518-9190. That's 877-518-9190.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And what are we doing here? Looking at Tesla. Again, the last thing you want to be generally, unless a company you know is going bankrupt, is short a company that is being shorted out the wazoo. There's ebbs and tides in these, but no one has quit shorting this thing. My guess is it could come back to $380 in a heartbeat, in a blink. But it's going to take everybody to quit shorting the stock. And, you know, on a monthly basis, the last reporting period wasn't that bad. But what you get is a endless loop of kind of a Mobius loop of folks shorting this thing every day and then covering a couple of days later. All last week, 30% one day, 29%. 29%, 26%, 26% on Friday. They just won't quit. And as I've said before, in these kind of runaway markets, the thing to watch out for and to run like hell is when they, when they quit shorting. Now, I don't know when that will be. I don't get the numbers until late at night, about 8 o'clock. But what I can kind of say about it is that you generally can get a fairly good indication when all the volume falls out and the stock has an intraday push, and that you, in that intraday push, you tend to give it up by the end of the day, and the volume remained light all day. And a good indication that they weren't able to squeeze anymore, folks. And the fact that with the light volume, people weren't shorting it at the same time. So in a war of bulls and bears, is Tesla worth $512 or $519? The answer is no. But again, how many stocks were worth anything going into 2000? Most of them didn't have a business plan. All they had was a marketing system and telling people that they were getting lots of eyeballs. Lots of eyeballs are not cash. They're not money. They're not something you can sell or barter or trade. And again, the whole belief here is that China is a monster land of milk and honey, and the Chinese Chicoms are going to let Tesla run away with a ton of that cash. It just hasn't worked like that for any other company. They may need Tesla more than anyone at this moment, but eventually they will get all the technology out of Tesla and leave its rotting hulk of a corpse on the side of the road. It's just when, not if, my belief. Now, maybe there was some kind of deal I do not know about, in the tariff things to let somebody like Tesla go ahead and be profitable. Maybe it is the one company that they'll point to and say, see, we can do it. But I have a feeling that even if they agreed to it, it's an anathema to letting anybody outside their country that isn't, and also anybody that isn't Chinese, have a dime. They believe that it is their destiny. In fact, they're brought up that way. Their destiny to control the world, just given enough time. Anyway, there's some okay volume in this. But again, short interest on this continues to come on a daily basis, and this is not going to give it up until they do. In fact, my guess is you're going to have a big kind of move down. Everybody will start shorting. They'll squeeze once again. It'll get up there with a light volume, and then the thing will fall apart. Like I said, you could see $200 in this thing in a handful of days. Just based on the shorts finally giving up. We looked at Apple. We haven't looked at Microsoft. Let's take a good MSFT. If there's any signs anywhere on these, but we do not know. No, nothing. I mean, each time you kind of get around a kind of a trend line to the upside, you don't get any confirmation down the line that any of these things want to give it up. And again, we're kind of just taking a big rest today. You want to be up early in the morning and watching how those earnings come in from the big broker dealers. And of course, the trains this week will have, of course, a rolling move for most of them. But at the moment, there's an old chestnut in trading, and that is, do not be short a quiet market. And especially today, seems to me, after all the yelling and screaming of last week, where, as far as I can tell, everybody on TV was wrong about what was going to happen, what did happen, and the reaction to what happened to the events in Western Iraq. I haven't seen them. Are they making a little line to apologize to us for lying to us about what was going to happen? The kind of the things I saw, they were absolutely sure. And one good thing about people that are absolutely sure, they probably aren't making good decisions, because there's not that much sure in the stock market, and there's certainly not that much sure in world events. A lot of unintended consequences. The unintended consequence in what happened last week might be the downfall of the mullahs in Iran. Wouldn't that be an event to remember? What else do we have? Why people are talking? Wingstop. We'll look at a couple of these. Coming back up, looks like 100, where this is going to test it. Wings are getting very expensive these days. You're back up into a day that came down with 400,000 shares. You got about 246,000 shares. Certainly looks like that 100 is possible. What is this? Williams-Sonoma. Been talking about this one breaking through the 18th of November high with 1.5 million shares back then. No sign of strength, anything on that one. But again, we've got about 2 days for these things to start figuring out which way they're going to go. The XLI, which is the industrial sector, has gone through the February 26, 2019 high. That was $80.99. We got up a little bit higher on that one. And what are you going to say here? I'm going to say got 83.51 from $80.99. But I'm not going to say that those are signs of strength. You had some nice kind of wide candles, but it's about 50 cents on an $80 stock. So I can't say that there's any real true sign of strength there. Let's take a look at some other ones. Oh, going to go break here. Got time for a couple more left. Give me an email at path@tfnn.com.
I'm certain you are or strive to be one of the best at everything you do in life. It's the most common trait that we tigers and tigresses share. If you're looking to become the best of the best when it comes to managing your money, let me teach you to do what most wealth managers tell you can't be done, which is how to time the markets. I'm Steve Rhodes, author of Mastering Probability, and for the last 12 months, Timer Digest has been tracking my newsletter signals, which have earned me the ranking as their #1 market timer in the nation for the S&P 500 for the last 12, 6, and 3 months. Timer Digest also ranks me as the #1 market timer for gold as well. The fact is, markets can be timed, and I'll teach you the exact set of tools that I use that has transformed me into one of the best at what I do. Sign up for Mastering Probability today by clicking on the newsletter tab on the homepage of TFNN.com and get immediate access to workshops where I take you step by step how to use an extraordinary set of tools as well as provide great market calls too. Sign up today.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. Since 1984, Basil Chapman has been using the Chapman Wave methodology to advise traders of his expert market opinion. While originally hand-drawing charts from the late 1970s into the 1980s, Basil noticed that prices under most circumstances virtually always had a certain number of legs to the upside before declining sharply. Later, Basil found that computer software, which included the standard market technical indicators, enhanced the degree of accuracy in calling price turns, as well as market trend calls. Thus was born the Chapman Wave sequence. Using the Chapman Wave methodology along with other indicators, Basil Chapman advises his subscribers of his expert market opinion each market day with his opening call newsletter. Right now, you can get a 2-week free trial to the opening call, Basil's daily trading newsletter, by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Cancel at any time during that trial and pay absolutely nothing. Get your 2-week free trial to Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, today by visiting TFNN.com.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN, also a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
Oh, boy. And with just a couple minutes to go in the show, and another hour with Tom O'Brien after this. Up 18 points on the S&P cash, up 55 on the Dow. NASDAQ's up 80. Russell's up 10, which is about 0.6%. It'd been kind of hanging back for a few days, but it may play a little bit of catch-up. Certainly not as strong as the NASDAQ today. But got some other questions out here. Is there anything else that I want to be looking at? Well, I look at the VNQ and the TLT every day. So let's wrap this up. The volatility in the TLT has kind of pulled back into this range from about 135 to 140-ish. And again, you continue to have lower highs and higher lows. So until that breaks, I don't think you can make a great deal out of it, but certainly not a signal out here other than a doji with light volume today ahead of earnings. So not much in that. I don't see much in the VNQ. And of course, I don't see much in the way of the VIX, which is going to give us any kind of real signal out here. Pretty flat day when you get the VIX moving less than 1%. But it's one of those things where we tend to hurry up and wait for the Fed. We tend to hurry up and wait for GDP numbers, and then we hurry up and wait for earnings numbers, and that's exactly where we're at today. Anyway, as we said earlier in the shoe, what you really want to be looking at is those broker dealers across the next couple of days, JP Morgan, and the rest of the usual suspects in that crowd. They're probably going to tell us whether or not they can continue to make money. And of course, they probably did okay in the past. It's going to be a lot more about what they say about the future. So when you can, not when you have to. And we will see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.